to have people tell you that they don't like the way your face looks, or like your content is terrible, or that you didn't shoot something the right way. Any little critique whatsoever, like people will go hard on YouTube. Like they will tear you down. They don't care. How I got started with YouTube. I think it started like every other person starting a YouTube channel. I didn't really have any like idea where it was gonna go. I wanted to be like gaming focused, but I didn't think I had no intention of doing hardware reviews at all when it first started. It was gonna be like gameplay, like let's plays, maybe some like I did some character builds for Grim Dawn. Pretty much anything I was playing, I just wanted to screen cap it and talk and like just see what happened. Like it was more just like try it on a whim, be something for fun. Yeah. And then it just sort of like evolved into this hardware reviews and just took it in a different direction because I enjoyed like the cinematography part of like filming and editing and the lighting and like getting cool looking shots and all that kind of stuff. So just sort of like molded into that. Yeah. So my initial process for creating a hardware review was actually, so I got into it because I wanted a mechanical keyboard, but I didn't know hardly anything about them. And I watched a lot of videos and did my research and still wasn't quite sure after everything that I had watched. So I didn't have much of a process at all, really. What I did was I filmed it unboxing style, like with the camera up high, and opened it up and pulled everything out. And then I did shoot some video of it stationary and things like that, and basically just kind of like overdubbed everything as I was doing it. It was also very over the top, like my voice was all weird and trying to do like the YouTube voice, and like newscaster style. It was so over accentuated, and that video actually was so bad that like a month or two after I started getting into it more and like refining my process, I went back and I didn't really re-edit the video, but I did completely like wipe the audio and redub it again. And it was a lot more, laid back and even, but it's on my channel. It's like you can find it. It's way back there, but it's still not that great. It's pretty bad. Yeah. Pre-YouTube content creation for me was really nothing video related. It was all music related. So I did have a lot of experience with recording music live and mixing and editing, that kind of thing. I did a lot with Fruity Loops, making like electronic music. So I wasn't like unfamiliar with like the creative process of like I want to make something, and so you start and you kind of play around with it and layer stuff and cut things and add things and all that. But the video aspect of it, aside from like shooting skateboarding videos with my friends in like high school, I had next to no video experience. And so part of that too, I got lucky in that I had bought my wife a nice DSLR camera, or at least what we considered nice at the time, for photography for Christmas one year, and it basically went unused for like a year. And then when I started doing YouTube, I like stole it and was just like, this is mine now. I use this for my hobby. And just luckily I had a camera laying around that I could use. For me, the turning point to turn YouTube from a hobby into like a dedicated business that I really focus on and like dedicate myself to regularly producing videos and like constantly getting better and growing. I'm not exactly sure when it actually happened, like when there was like this moment where it's like, yes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on this. But there were a few things that happened along the way, I think, that really influenced me and like made me think like, okay, this is doable. I think one of the main things that really got me excited early on was I had been doing some gaming related content for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen and just like talking about like, what it is, and it's so early in development, so it was like just kind of talking about what it was and features that were going to come out, stuff like that. And the developers of that game approached me and asked to have a Skype meeting with me, and just being able to talk with those guys and have them interested in working with me for producing content for their game potentially in the future. Getting to have a Skype conversation with Brad McQuaid, like the creator of EverQuest, the game that I grew up playing forever, was just like mind-blowing for me. I was like, Like, why is this guy even talking to me? This is insane. So it just like really fired me up to think like, man, if these guys are interested in what I'm doing, like I need to like maybe really try to pursue this. And then also another part of that too was just like a lot of the comments I was getting were like really positive all the time. And kind of around that time too, people were like, man, this is great content. You need to keep doing this. Then I had like one or two smaller companies, like, kind of off-brand companies approaching me for reviews, and they wanted to send me stuff, which really helped because at the time I was having to like scrape together money to buy these like big expensive review items. So I think it was a mixture of like more motivation and seeing these things happen, but also have the ability to get enough influx of stuff to like keep pumping out videos without having to like break the bank like buying all this stuff. So it was like kind of those things coming together too just made it possible, and also like gave me the drive to do it at the same time. So the biggest struggles that I face as a tech YouTuber, like starting out and trying to grow a channel, I think is one, there's a lot of them. I think like one is access to good, interesting products that people are interested in. Like you need to have newer products that people are actively searching for to try to find out what it's all about. Is it worth buying? That sort of thing. Also, though, I think there's just so many good creators out there with consistent, great content that have built up enough of a reputation that part of the algorithm, like when they upload their Razer Black Widow Chroma video, it's going to be up at the top instantly because you've got 1 million subscribers all watching it right away. Like that video's activity is way up there. So it's kind of like a climb, or you're clawing your way up to the top, and as you build up your own subscribers, that will help, but a lot of it is being first to the table too. If you're the first one with the review up of that keyboard, then that's just what people are going to find, and that will boost you. But at the same time, these big YouTubers have access to these products before they're even released. So like, for example, when the Black Widow V2 came out, I had pre-ordered that keyboard because I knew it had the new yellow switches. I knew this was something people are going to want to see. So I pre-ordered it on Amazon, paid extra to have it delivered like immediately right when it would be released. And I remember taking off work a little bit early and like just hauling ass on the way home, driving as fast as I could because I knew I had like a 3 or 4 hour window when I got it in to be one of the first few people to get a review out there. So I just busted my butt, and it did work. I mean, that video is still a really well performing video, but these big channels don't have to do all that. I mean, they can get this, in some cases, can get these products like a week or two before release and have plenty of stuff ready to go, and they just release it right away. So that's really hard for the little guy to compete with something like that.
In the world out there, they're like, I want to be able to just get free hardware and review stuff and play games all day.
Yeah.
But that's unrealistic. Like, what do you think are like the real personality traits that a content creator has to have to make it in YouTube today?
So yeah, I mean, you hit on a lot of good points there. Like, it's not all about I want to start a channel so that people will send me free stuff, because I could tell you right now, for all the work that it takes, even for just how long it takes to make a video, but all the behind the scenes work too, like emailing people, setting things up, setting deadlines, meeting deadlines, I would much rather just buy the product 2 times over than have to do all of that work sometimes to get it. But as far as like qualities that a YouTuber or content creator in general needs to have to be successful, I think probably number one, the most important thing is just like thick skin, like the ability to have people tell you that they don't like the way your face looks, or like your content is terrible, or that you didn't shoot something the right way. Any little critique whatsoever, like people will go hard on YouTube. Like they will tear you down. They don't care. Being able to like read those comments and just be like, whatever. Like just don't even give it a second thought is like paramount. I think anything with internet content creation or social media in general is like you have to be able to just drown out the trolls and just either focus on the positive comments or just know and have enough confidence in what you're doing to just stick with it and just go. Like my philosophy on that is like, I'm just going to do it until it just like nobody watches it at all anymore. And then just like, okay, but I know, but there's no reason I'm going to stop unless like, I don't care what, I've had people say all kinds of weird shit. Like, I don't like the way your nose looks, or why you have a line on your forehead in this shot, or something. It could just be a weird shadow or something. It's like, really? Out of everything in the video, that's what you chose to focus on? Other than that, it's a lot of time management is huge. I struggle with that a lot still. It's also just understanding that you're going to have to lock yourself in a room sometimes for 8 hours at a time and just tediously edit a video or work on something. I mean, it's a lot of just laser beam focus on what you want, and just you definitely have to have motivation for sure, because you will burn out if you don't stay focused on what the end game goal is. And it takes a long time to be successful on YouTube too. I mean, the average, I think what a lot of people out there will say is don't expect to make any money in 3 years or to even blow up in 3 years. And that's a long time to work your butt off and grind for very little reward. And I was definitely lucky in that I was able to kind of get there somewhat to that point sooner for sure, and had some opportunities open up. And even that for me has been very difficult to just, some days you wake up and you're just like, I don't want to do this video today. I really don't want to do it. But you know that if you don't do it, you're going to get behind. And if you wait too long, then your audience might forget about you, or the algorithm may not, suggest you as much because you're not uploading as often. And so you do have to stay consistent at the same time. So it's just, I think, the bottom line is thick skin, tenacity, motivation, and just, you have to enjoy it at the same time. There's days where I'll finish a 6-hour, 8-hour long editing session, and I'll upload it, or I'll watch it back after I've rendered the video, and I'm just like, man, I'm really proud of this one. I love the way it looks. That was fun. I enjoyed the creative process. It's tedious, horrible work if you don't enjoy it. So, I mean, it's a lot of things, really. I mean, some people definitely have it easier than others too, depending on the type of content you make. Yeah. But yeah, I think in general, those are the things that I would say you need to have.
Okay.
Yes, balancing home life, work life, personal responsibilities, for me is by far the biggest challenge I deal with every single day. On an hourly basis, this is an issue. Work a full-time 9-to-5 job, and then come home. I also have 3 kids, so then you come home, you see the family for a while. Even if you have something very important you have to work on, I can usually, my wife is very supportive and understanding, and I can tell her, I've got to get this video out, but you still have to deal with constant interruptions from the kids, and they, I want to see them and they want to see me, but I'm essentially working another second full-time career trying to grow this business. So, you'd say, Daddy's working, I love you, we'll play later. Then you have to stop and come to dinner, and, still have a presence, because, I don't want to be the gone parent that's working all the time. So then what it really boils down to is a lot of very late nights and very little sleep, because I can't shoot and edit and do voiceover work basically at all during the day when the kids are awake. And so I'll usually maybe shoot a little B-roll during the day when I can edit out the sound clip. But yeah, a lot of my early videos especially were basically me staying up until 3 in the morning editing and working on it. That's why I had so many late night uploads the first year and a half, was because that's just the only time I had, and I really wanted to do it. So I was willing to sacrifice only sleeping 3 hours that night and knowing that tomorrow's just going to be a lot of coffee. I almost forgot one of the most important steps.
What?
The coffee.
Are you making a video?
Yep. And then usually it turned out the next night to be the exact same thing all over again, and you just turn into a bit of a zombie. And then usually one day a week you just crash out and sleep all day long, and then rinse and repeat. But it's definitely a struggle balancing work, second work, life, family responsibilities, but also just wanting, I don't want to miss the kids' lives either. So there's definitely a lot more I would like to do with the channel and grow it and work on it. I would love to be able to just not work and spend that 9 to 5 every Monday through Friday working on just videos, because I feel like I could pump out 5 a week easy. And hopefully one day that's, we'll get there. But right now it's just, I do as much as I can and balance everything. But it's hard. What I get out of my channel, and it is it is very rewarding. It's validating, I guess you could say, or at least what the rewards are validating. When you spend hours and hours and hours away from your family, and you're editing and you're doing tedious work. And then, I mean, I have almost 200 videos out now, and that's over a 2-year period. That's a lot of sitting in front of the computer and editing. And so there's definitely things that are rewarding. I'll say the least rewarding part of it is the free products to review. A lot of people think that's like the coolest part of it, and being like, oh, you can get like any product you want, and you must have stuff everywhere. Like, what do you do with it all? And really, that part of it, I mean, yeah, I have a closet bursting full of stuff, but I hold on to a lot of it for comparisons and things down the line, so I can, almost like a library, I can pull 2 types of switches out, compare them, and that sort of thing. I think the bigger, more rewarding part of it is, one, just constantly seeing a stream of positive feedback is huge, because just, seeing the people you're making the content for appreciating it and really enjoying it is like, that's the whole point, right? So that's, yeah, it's very, very, feels really good. But also bigger opportunities opening up, like the Razer event that I went out to in California, that, by the time you guys see this, you may or may not know what that was all about, so I'm not going to say too much about it. But having them reach out and contact me and bringing me there with media outlets that are far bigger than myself, like way, way bigger, and they just like that I cover certain aspects of like product reviews, and they like the style, and they just wanted to show me what a launch of a new product was going to be like. And so that was just really cool. And your whole experience, I'm sitting there like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, what is this? And so that's awesome. And getting sponsored trips to E3, those are like, I guess, just to wrap it up, because it's getting kind of like, I'm kind of rambling, but like opportunities opening up because of what I'm doing, I think is the most rewarding thing.